Hello and welcome to day 3 of the Let's Create series when we make some Roblox games. So to continue from where we left off last time, we finished up area 1 and we started area 2. And in our area we have checkpoint and we have platform. And so on this platform we are going to add a couple kill parts, which when the player touches they'll die, which will set them back to the previous checkpoint. And we'll also get ready to start making some moving platforms that the player will have to jump on to progress through the area. So this will get us ready to start scripting in the next episode. And so we're going to kind of take scripting pretty slow, but we need to get to a point where we can start scripting. So the first thing we want to do is change our platform color to something that'll have a good contrast for the kill parts. We want our kill parts to be red. So with our platform selected, I'm going to go up to color and I'm going to make it a pretty dull color like some very light gray or something along those lines. And then we can add a part to it. So I'm going to zoom in so the camera points at that platform and I'll add a part. And that part will be the same color as the platform because it's the color we have selected. So with our new part selected, I will change its color to red. After we have this part added and we change its color to red, we want to rename the part. We can do so by clicking on the part over in the Explorer. And I'm going to name mine kill part, capital K, capital P, and no space. Now that we have this kill part in place, we can move it into area 2, the model, and we can scale up our kill part a little bit just so it's easily visible. We're going to end up making a couple of these, but and we'll place them later, but for now we just want to have a couple of them so that we can see that the script will give all kill parts, anything named kill part, the same behavior, which kills the player if they touch it. So I'm also going to make it a little less tall, a little shorter, so that it's not, halfway up the player's body. And then finally, I'll duplicate it twice. So you can duplicate it by clicking duplicate at the top left. So I'll click this twice. And this will create 2 more kill parts in the area. So with one selected, we can change the tool to move, and we can move one of these parts away from the original, and then we'll click the other part and move it away from the original. And it doesn't matter too much how these are laid out because we're going to change it, which we'll do probably in the next episode. But for now, we just want 3 kill parts, and we want to make sure they're anchored, which if area 2 is anchored, then the kill parts will be anchored as well. Okay, so now that we have a couple kill parts, the next thing we're going to do is add some moving platforms that the player will have to jump across. If you do not have these 3 kill parts, feel free to pause the video, rewind if needed, get caught up to this point where we have all I did was change the platform color, added these 3 parts, renamed kill part, and now they're red, and then we're ready to move on. Okay, so with that, I will select just this platform. You can do so by clicking in the Explorer or holding Alt, A-L-T, on the keyboard next to space, or Options if you're on a Mac, and click the part. Then I want to duplicate this as well, and I want to pull it away from the original. And we'll leave a good enough space for the player to jump. And then I'm going to change its color. So I will change it to some darker blue. And I'm going to rename this to moving platform. Okay, now that we have moving platform, it's blue. Any color that isn't, the kill part platform or a checkpoint color really is fine. And then I'm going to scale it down, maybe into something that looks similar to a square. And finally, I'm going to duplicate it twice. So the same process with it selected, I'll press duplicate twice. And now we should have 3 copies of moving platform in area 2. And so I'll take one of those copies, I'll use the move tool, and using just the red arrow to move it just along the x-axis, I'm going to move it to the left. And then selecting one other one, I'll move it to the right. And both of these will be outside of the width of our kill platform. And so these are going to be the left side and the right side of our moving platform. And so we'll rename them accordingly. And what I like to do is in the view of the player is how I determine what's left and right. So the one that I have selected currently, the player would be approaching it from this direction. And so that would be the left platform or left side. So I'll rename this one to left side. And I use a capital L, capital S, and no space. The reason I tell you about how I'm naming these parts is because we're going to access them in the script. So we need to make sure we know how they're spelled, including uppercase and lowercase. And so then I'll select the right side and rename it to that. I'll rename it to right side. And now that we have those 3 named, we have right side, moving platform, and left side. We want to group all 3 of those. And so with any of them selected, so I have right side selected, we can go up by color, and the top list item is group. We'll click that, and it'll make a model in our area 2 called model. And if we expand the arrow, we'll see that right side is a child of model. So I'll rename model, and I'm going to rename this to indicate what is inside of it. And so what's going to be inside this is right side, left side, and moving platform. So this will be something like moving platform container, or I'm just going to call it moving platform model. Okay, and so currently only one part is inside of this model. So I'm going to take left side and move it in by click and hold on left side and then move it up to our model that we just added, and it should add it inside of model. And I'll do the same for moving platform. And now all 3 of these parts are inside moving platform, so I can collapse this model, and those 3 parts will kind of go hidden in the Explorer, but we'll still see them in the workspace. And then I can click on the model, and it will highlight all 3 of the platforms we just created. And so now hovering up above, so we can have a kind of a good view over the top, I can duplicate this 2 times. So with ensuring that the model is selected and those 3 items are inside the model, you'll see that we have all 3 platforms selected, and we can press duplicate twice. And I'll move the first one out a good jumps distance away, and then I'll select the second one and move it out about the same. So then we have something that looks like this. If you do not have this, go ahead and pause the video here, rewind if needed, and go through the steps to get something that looks similar to this. Okay, and finally, the last thing we want to do is make another checkpoint, and we are going to start area 3. So to do that, we can just click checkpoint that's in our area 2, and we can duplicate it. So I'll duplicate it, and then we can use the blue arrow to move it just to the other side of this, the moving platforms. And now that we have the second checkpoint, it's still highlighted because I was just using it, and I'm going to press group, and that'll put it into a model. And now I'm going to rename this model area 3, capital A, no space, and then number 3. And then I can grab this model, this kind of parent model to checkpoint, drag it up to workspace, and it'll make it something called a sibling to areas 1 and 2. So if we collapse all 3 areas, we should see we have area 1, area 2, area 3. And if they're not in order, that's okay. They don't need to be in order. So now we have area 1, area 2, area 3. We have just this little start to area 3. We don't really need to get too far into it. That's going to be your homework. So in between this episode and the next one, I'd encourage you to use your imagination to make anything you want for area 3. And basically just lay down the platforms. And through scripting, I'll help you understand how to give parts behaviors, and you'll be able to use your imagination on area 3 to create obstacles for the player. So, I know this was short, but that is all we covered in day 3. So, if you have any questions, please feel free to post a comment below. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you aren't already so you can see a new video come up when it's ready. And other than that, congratulations, you've completed day 3 of the Let's Create series on Roblox. So thank you and happy creating.